Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. 90-Day Fiancé, Georgi flies back to Bulgaria without Darcey after tell-all drama. 90-Day Fiancé star Georgi didn't he just drop a bombshell? He dropped Darcey, too. He decided to hop on a flight straight back to Bulgaria without her and didn't he look back at all. But what went wrong? Well, the tell-all segment is speaking volumes about why Georgi would want to leave his wife. But that's not all. There is a lot more, and viewers are now reading between the lines. This is because Georgi's solo exit might hint at the end of an era. Is this true? What is this all about? Why did he leave Darcey? Keep on reading to learn more about this controversy because the tea is really hot. 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After featured the way Georgi and Darcey were having a dry spell in their marriage. They weren't getting intimate, and their bedroom life was dead for about 6 months. Moreover, Darcey was having trust issues, and she was keeping a close eye on her husband. Darcey even accused Georgi of simply using her to get to America. She believes that the latter considered her to be the gateway to the States and a stable life. The celeb explained how Georgi's personality took a completely new turn after he got his green card, and he secured his future in America. After tell-all of 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, Darcey and Georgi parted their ways. The latter was quick to pack his bags and head back to Bulgaria. The celeb has shared several pictures from his peaceful life. Viewers aren't able to ignore how he is a completely different man in his home. Georgi was recently spotted cruising on a tractor with a grin that viewers never really saw during the time when he was in America with Darcey. Apparently, Georgi has talked about living in Bulgaria several times. He wanted to have a place close to his parents and live a peaceful life. However, it was evident that Darcey didn't even think of following this plan in her wildest dream. So where did she go then? Well, Darcey boarded a flight to Turkey as usual, and the rest is history. She is again undergoing a series of surgeries and is exploring how far she could go. The celeb wants to debut her Darcey 5.0 version and is undergoing the knife for it. This made it clear that these two were no longer two peas in a pod. Several viewers took to Reddit and supported Georgi. A user wrote, "He just wants to be free." Another one added, "They're divorced now. That was almost a year ago." Someone further commented, "Good for him. He needs to spend time with his family without Darcey sucking the air." All of this made it clear that Georgi and Darcey are no longer together, and that they may simply be waiting for the right time to announce their separation. What do you think? Do let us know in the comments section. Keep coming back to for more updates. The reunion stage lights were still cooling when Georgi Rousseff made his way out of the studio, shoulders tight, jaw locked, eyes burning with the kind of quiet fury that only comes from emotional whiplash. Behind him, through the heavy doors, the 90-Day Fiancé, the last resort tell-all was still humming with muffled commotion, producers scrambling, cast members whispering, Darcey pacing in her heels as she demanded one more chance to clarify everything. But Georgi was done. This time, he didn't look back. Not at the set, not at the cameras, and certainly not at Darcey Silva. Hours later, while social media was still exploding with clips of the tell-all showdown, Darcey and Georgi dredging up every hurt, every jealousy spiral, every half-finished promise, Georgi was already buckling his seatbelt on a flight bound for Sofia, Bulgaria. No dramatic farewell, no staged goodbye kisses for the cameras. Just a passport, a packed duffel bag, and a firm decision he claimed was for peace. And maybe, for once, he meant it. The tell-all that broke the camel's back. The drama had been brewing long before filming even started. Darcey came in fiery, defensive, and determined to prove to the world and maybe to herself that she had control of the situation. Georgi arrived calm at first, trying to project the image of a man who had evolved, matured, and learned to listen. That lasted all of 15 minutes. Viewers watched as their tension simmered, then snapped. The tell-all became a battlefield of old accusations, Darcey calling out Georgi for making her feel small. Georgi insisting she misinterpreted everything because she never let him finish a sentence. Darcey accusing him of secret conversations with other women, Georgi firing back that she thrived on chaos. Every unresolved argument resurfaced. Every old wound reopened. When the host asked if they saw a future together, Darcey burst into emotional theatrics while Georgi simply exhaled like a man tired of starring in someone else's storm. Then, the moment that detonated everything, Darcey suggested Georgi only came back into her life for clout. The audience gasped, the cast reacted, and Georgi's face went stone cold. He stood up, microphone still attached, and said nothing. He just walked off. Darcey left stunned but not speechless. Backstage, Darcey was frantic. Crying, pacing, ranting about betrayal. She insisted Georgi was being dramatic for attention, but the irony was impossible to miss. Producers tried to convince her to take a breath, to let him cool off, but Darcey wasn't the cooling off type. She wanted control, closure, and a camera-ready reconciliation. But Georgi had made his decision hours before he even stepped on stage. Sources whisper he had already booked the ticket to Bulgaria that morning. A quiet departure. While Darcey's team contacted him repeatedly, he kept his phone on silent. He didn't block her, though not out of hope, perhaps, but habit. Still, he didn't answer. At the airport, other passengers recognized him, but he waved politely and avoided conversation. He was tired, emotionally bone-deep tired from years of trying to fit into a relationship that always seemed one argument away from combustion. Those close to him say he described the tell-all as the moment he finally saw the relationship clearly. "It's not love if it hurts more than it heals," he reportedly said. He boarded the plane, leaned his head back, and allowed himself a long exhale as the cabin doors closed. For the first time in months, he wasn't bracing for Darcey's next emotional blow. He wasn't preparing to defend himself. He was just stepping away. Bulgaria, a return to roots. Landing in Sofia, Georgi looked visibly lighter, almost relieved. His family greeted him warmly, delighted to have him home after years of watching his life play out in front of American cameras. In Bulgaria, there were no paparazzi. No producers. No confessionals. No pressure to perform. Just mountains, quiet evenings, and familiar faces who didn't ask him to be anything but himself. He shared a cryptic but peaceful photo on social media, a view of the Vitisha mountain range at sunset with the caption, "Home is where the soul rests." Fans immediately knew this wasn't a vacation. It was a retreat. Some even speculated he was done with the franchise altogether. Darcey, shocked, hurt, and spinning. Back in the States, Darcey processed the news with a swirl of hurt and indignation. She told producers she felt abandoned, blindsided, and played. But in classic Darcey fashion, she also vowed to come back stronger, better, and unstoppable. She posted inspirational quotes about self-worth and heartbreak, dramatic selfies with glossy eyes and perfect lashes, and videos hinting at a major glow-up era. But underneath the glam filters, it was clear, Georgi leaving without a final discussion wounded her deeply. Not because of the cameras but because she wasn't done with him. Not yet. Will he come back? Fans are divided. Some think Georgi is finally reclaiming his peace, stepping out of a toxic cycle that drained him for years. Others believe he and Darcey are destined to circle back to one another, no matter how messy things get. And Darcey she's already hinted that their story isn't finished, even though Georgi's exit suggests otherwise. He left quietly, without one last promise. Without one last apology. Without one last fight. And maybe that's what makes this time feel different. The end, or just another cliffhanger with Georgi in Bulgaria and Darcey spinning her heartbreak into a new empowerment arc, their future is unclear. TLC insiders say the door is never fully shut when it comes to the franchise's most dramatic couples. But for now, Georgi seems content to stay far away from the whirlwind that has defined his life for the last several years. Whether this is closure or calm before another storm, only time will tell. But one thing is undeniable, this time, Georgi didn't just walk away. He flew.